Like the thing I love about Power 90 is once I master it, then it's just about how intense I can be with the program versus having to try to master it. And you made the point that's where the gains are going to come, is from not mastering it. And as soon as you think you've mastered it, I'm going to change it up on you. But the thing that really blew me away, and this is classic Horton, was you said, I'm not an expert in everything, but I know a lot of people who know a lot more than me, and I'm going to pull from the best, and I'm going to translate that in a way that people can really get into at home through DVDs. And I think that's really, we got interviewed yesterday by a guy from Nightline, and he was asking, what's the hook here? Why does this work? And I said, the reason P90X is so special, and frankly, most of our programs, the reason that we've raised the bar is the people who we have presenting them are so good at articulating fitness through this one-directional medium versus, you got a trainer there counting your reps, straighten your knee, but your ankle's over this and your elbow needs to go that way. And you've got nobody giving you feedback. So you need a real expert to deliver that information in a way that's just not deathly boring. And this guy manages to do that, and he manages to do it by pulling expertise from great people. So talk a little bit.
Go on about me. I have no problem with that.
Well, we're going to talk about your deal after this. So this was good. So let's talk about how we came across PAP.
Well, Marcus Elliott, who runs the P3 Center up in Santa Barbara, Peak Performance Project, I believe it was through Steve Edwards. Steve Edwards and also John Compton, our president, had a relationship and a connection with him. And John came to me and said, dude, you got to meet this guy. It's incredible what he's doing. It's so state-of-the-art. It's so cutting edge. He's so far ahead of so many people. He's got the best professional and collegiate athletes coming to his facility from around the country and around the world. I think what they're doing is so unique. And let's talk to him and work with him and go up to his facility and chat with him. And so, I said, wow, that sounds like, an offer to go to Santa Barbara, hang out a couple of days, and just work on some things that were brand new to me. I was fired up. And, I go in there kind of cocky because I'm really good at doing push-ups and pull-ups, so. And then I get in there and I see some things and I think, oh, that looks hard. I can't do that. But, you get right in there and, you do your best and
forget the rest.
Right? And so that's what I did.
Did you guys rehearse this when I was there? Well, let's bring him out, and we'll get into it a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Elliott. Now, Marcus is also the, the chairman of our scientific advisory board?
Chairman of your scientific advisory board.
Dig it. And which is unique, because normally in our kind of company, the chairman of the scientific advisory board will be noted internal, doctor, somebody who it's all going to be based around nutrition or supplementation. And we were like, we are a holistic company. So the perspective that we want on the scientific advisory board needs to also be holistic. And what's great about Marcus, what impressed me about his story, I'll talk like you're not here for a second, is that here's a guy who said, I'm going to bring the state-of-the-art of thinking in medicine to fitness, and actually did the work while his peers in fitness were out there training people and getting jobs in the fitness industry. He went to get his doctorate and take it to a level that very few people in the industry have done, and has built this thing, P3 up in Santa Barbara, which is training the world's elite athletes in a way that is stunning, frankly, professional sports. So, Marcus, thank you for participating with us. Thanks for being a part of what we're trying to build here, and tell us a little bit about what we have in store with PAP.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Backs, balls. What is it? Backs, buys, and balls. Is that right?
You can throw any parts you want in there.
Yeah.
No, don't go there. All right.
You got to know, though, he's got that side to him, but they also have this side where they're super committed to doing this thing well, really using the latest science. There's no other company that has this type of commitment to making sure this backside of this thing works right. No jokes there either.
Hey man, I'm totally cool.
All right.
What's your plan?
So, I see the commitment in terms of delivering science, And that was one of the biggest hooks for getting involved here. It was never my intention to get involved with a fitness company, but I'm confident that we can lead this thing out consistently in terms of sports science, making sure we're delivering the best products, making sure that we're actually leading the front edge in terms of what science is telling us about how to develop as human beings optimally, how to optimize nutrition, how to reduce injuries, all of these pieces. I was talking yesterday with Tony about how I'm confident that the P90X already is a better program than a lot of pro athletes use. You know, I mean, a lot of pro athletes use the program, but it's better than what their strength coaches on their NFL team or their Major League Baseball team or their NBA team are giving them. And this next version, P90X-2, is going to create even more delta. It's going to create even more separation. So it's kind of wild to think that you guys are leading out that edge, and then the pro sports teams are going to follow.
So let's get into PAP, what it stands for, and then I'm going to roll a little video so people can see the process of sort of Tony going through this, getting hammered by these things, and then how they made their way into the programs themselves.
Yeah, so PAP stands for post-activation potentiation. And what it is this concept that if you combine a power movement with a strength movement, and the strength movement precedes the power movement, so you do a split squat. You do a split squat movement, and then you combine it with a power movement that involves similar muscle groups, like a jump split squat. Then you get more muscle cells involved in that exercise. You create more power. If we went straight into that split squat, there's a certain amount of nerves and muscle cells that are just asleep. They're just dead weight. They're just along for the ride. But if you precede it with a strength movement, you essentially wake up those neurons, and you get those muscle cells that are normally dead weight. You get them engaged, and so you create more power. Does that make sense? And it's really, this is one of the hottest things in sports science right now. It's been studied like crazy over the last 10 years, especially out of Germany and out of Great Britain, out of Australia, and now out of the U.S. It's been studied over and over and over and over. Absolutely real phenomena. You precede a power movement with a strength movement, you get bigger power output. So that's sort of at the core of this PAP concept.
Carrie, can you roll that video, because it's not rolling for me up here. I want people to see some of the variety of those moves.
And it can involve almost any strength and power move, but the key is that similar muscle groups are engaged. Similar muscle groups from the strength movement into the power movement are engaged. So this is Tony at our place.
Good time.
Humana.
Yeah, hop on the ball, your foot in two directions for 30 seconds. It doesn't look like much.
Now, why does the PAP program, the PAP aspects of P90X-2, why did we build it so late into the program versus weave it throughout the three phases?
Well, I mean, it's intense training. I mean, it's really intense. It involves all these proprioceptive feedback mechanisms, lots of balance. I mean, your body has to be pretty engaged to be able to execute these movements. And so we want to build a base in strength. We build a base in plyometrics. We work on ground contacts a lot. How your foot interacts with the ground is incredibly important. These are, I think these are, well, there's athletes around. There's some other P90X people around in this clips. But essentially, you need to build a foundation before you throw somebody into this PAP type training. And we do that even with our athletes. You know, if we bring in a pro athlete, we're going to do some foundation work before you throw them into these PAP circuits.
Now, an athlete, okay, you know, somebody who has gotten to a specific level of the sport, make it through the collegiate ranks, be with the best of the best. It shocks me. You would just expect that these guys would have this stuff dialed in. I mean, again, when I talked to Isabel about when she would train she would train Maurice Green and these Olympic runners and stuff, and to find out the degree to which she had to train them to explode out of the blocks and stuff, just the smallest moves that they still hadn't mastered. Is that what they're coming to you for? And it's hard for me to believe then that a DVD program could actually be that valuable to these guys at this level.